Hello and welcome to Recharge Wrestling. We are here to plug you in to the world of professional wrestling. I'm Keeney and I'm joined as always by Fisher and Krusty.
Hi guys.
Got a full house. Got a full house today. So we're gonna. It's a standard show. We're gonna run through the news segment at the start and then into SmackDown, Raw, NXT, and AEW at the end. So in terms of news, we've only really got another Hall of Fame announcement, and it's Vader. It's time. What do you guys make of Vader? I mean, do you remember him much from back in the day?
I remember him a little bit, and he's one of those people that I kind of already thought he was in the Hall of Fame until recently. And I remember people when Hall of Fame suggestions were coming up, I remember seeing his name brought up a lot, so I realised he wasn't. But yeah, it's not really a surprise. I mean, he probably should have been inducted whilst he was still alive because it's a posthumous one, which, it's still a nice touch, but it's a shame that he doesn't get to be there and have the celebration and the speech and everything. But, it's still cool and obviously well-deserved. So, I haven't really got a lot else to say about it, but it's cool for him to be in.
Yeah. Anything, Krusty, to add?
No, I wasn't watching it when he was there, but he's one of those sort of household names that everybody who's sort of into wrestling knows Vader. So yeah, it is good. And like Fisher said, I thought he was already in the Hall of Fame. But yeah, it's good induction.
Yeah, well done, Vader. And I guess the other bit of news is WWE 2K22 is out tomorrow UK time.
Yeah.
I've got it pre-ordered, so I'll be playing that tomorrow night. So yeah. There's not much to say. It's coming out.
The downloadable content came out today, and that was there's a few glaring omissions. Zelina Vega's randomly not on the game, and some of the downloadable content is a bit odd, and they're spreading it out. Some of it's not out till July, which is a long wait. There's some odd character. I don't mind. I kind of like the addition of there being a celebrity pack. I kind of like that because they've not really done that before. But it doesn't have Bad Bunny in it, which is a bit weird.
Oh, well, that is rubbish.
But it has got Logan Paul, Machine Gun Kelly.
Hey, Logan Paul's a cool one, yeah. I think, and also one weird thing for me is there's no 2.0 guys at all.
No, but I reckon they're going to do that.
No Breaker, Carmelo Hayes. Nothing,
I've got a feeling they're going to do that at a later date and do an
as a pack.
Yeah.
I hope so.
The other bit of news surrounding 2K, actually, there was rumors. I've seen some stuff about it. Apparently, they might not be using 2K from next year, and EA might buy it. So that's something to look out for. I don't know whether it'd be a better or worse.
In that case, it would be microtransactions city.
Yeah,
you'd be paying for each move, I think.
However, we might get an updated roster all the time because EA are very good with that. From FIFA and other sports games, they update their rosters all the time. So at least we may get, if someone gets released, they get removed.
Yeah, I've never understood why they can't when they literally have a creator wrestler in the game. So the engine's there, but they can't release new wrestlers. Surely
and
they
also
could whip one up every week.
And you see some of the wrestlers that people that play the game create. They look incredible, and they've got the move sets up. The entrance is spot on. Okay, apart from the actual music, so you just it's like most of the work's done for them. Like,
not difficult to music into a game nowadays.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, really looking forward to it though, because it's been 2 years. They didn't release one last year, and then, people who've had it early have said the gameplay is really, really good. So I'm excited to play it. I just hope that they move some of these DLC content forward. I mean, I don't mind downloading, creator wrestlers and stuff. I mean, there's plenty of people create, like you say, people make really creations, but it's a bit of a shame. Some of the roster's already out of date. Even Ronda Rousey's a downloadable character. She's not just on the game. Like, seems a bit odd to me.
Yeah, and she was on the one 2 years ago. But
yeah.
Who knows? All right, let's move into SmackDown.
Yep.
And we can kind of segue there because Ronda Rousey was on SmackDown. She may not be on 2K, but she had her first match on SmackDown ever against Sonya Deville. What did you guys make of this one? And the angle afterwards?
Yeah, and I remember saying last week, will it actually go ahead? I wasn't sure they were actually going to do the match because it's Ronda and she doesn't really wrestle on TV, but she did wrestle. It was quite a short match, wasn't it? It was okay. Sonya got a bit of offense in, I think, but not a lot. And then Ronda did a sort of trademark judo type throws, the Piper's Pit, and then the armbar to win. Sonya tapped out. And I quite liked the story of Charlotte, on commentary saying she's a one-trick pony. She's only got one move. It's the armbar. She gets in, sort of prepared to take the armbar and reverse it, but then Ronda reveals that she can do the ankle lock.
Yeah,
Charlotte tapping. I think that's quite a good story.
It's quite a nice throwback to when she came into WWE with Kurt Angle, wasn't it? That's who she was paired up with at the start.
Yes.
And obviously the ankle lock was Kurt Angle's finisher for a while, so it's quite cool that she's doing that move. I have nothing else to add that Fisher added. What about you, Krusty?
No, it was such a short segment, but it's nice to actually see her wrestling on TV rather than waiting for the pay-per-views or premium lives events, as they're called now. PLEs. Yeah, it's nice to see her wrestling on her. And as you said, that ankle lock was cool.
No, I agree.
Looks like we might be getting wrestling a little bit more on pay-per-views by the live event.
That is
some news.
Yeah.
Let's put some news in there for you, for your UK fans. So WWE today announced a string of shows. It looks like they're bringing the SmackDown roster to the UK late in April.
Yeah, it's quite short notice.
Except Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns. Yeah, Roman Reigns isn't on there. And Ronda Rousey is actually on the list to appear. So my quick predictions for this is, looking forward, Roman Reigns is going to lose his belt at WrestleMania. He's going to have some time off. Ronda Rousey is going to win the belt, and she's actually going to be part of the roster for some time. So there's a cheeky, crusty pred for you, just by that. But yeah, WWE coming to the UK in April.
Yeah, like be good, wouldn't it? So I think maybe the main talking point from SmackDown is the Intercontinental title, maybe, which is quite nice to say.
Yeah.
We had a title change on the show. Were you guys shocked by this? Because I was.
I was a little bit. I actually think I don't mind it as a move. I hate it when they do quick title changes, as in, Sammy's only had about 2 weeks. But if he's facing Johnny Knoxville at Mania, I'd rather it not be for the Intercontinental title, because I don't want Johnny Knoxville winning the Intercontinental title. I feel like it should always be a wrestling belt. If he wants to win the 24/7 title, then fine, but not the IC belt. So I'm glad. I mean, it makes me look forward to Sammy and Knoxville more, even though Sammy lost in a weird way. And I have to say, the match itself was really, really good between Sammy and Ricochet. So no complaints there. Really good match.
Yeah, I'd say it was great. Tons of near falls. I know it was like really exciting, not knowing who was going to get the pin at what point. It was near fall after near fall. It also is really great to see the Ricochet back that we know he can be. This reminded me of NXT Ricochet. We see glimmers week to week, but this match was absolutely on point. And Sammy looked fantastic as well. He was taking the moves like an absolute trooper.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be interesting to see what they do for Ricochet at Mania now, because there is no obvious contender for him at all.
Multi-man matches, I think, it's the only option.
Yeah, but I think they're going to struggle to find one contender, let alone 4 or 5.
I think it's the only belt Sheamus hasn't won, and he's mentioned that a lot of times. I think you put him in a match. I think obviously you've got to do something with the New Day guys at Mania. There's the Viking Raiders if they're not in the tag team matches. There's a few guys you could throw into like a ladder match. Yeah.
I don't want to see the Viking Raiders in the Intercontinental.
You could just throw them into a ladder match, though. It wouldn't, I'm just putting guys out there again.
I think Sheamus and Ridge would make more sense.
Yeah,
you could also then create a bit of a split.
I was literally just listing the rest of the SmackDown roster, because you've got people like Mansoor and Gulak, but I don't see them doing it. Mansoor
would be actually a great one.
Yeah. They could have a good match, actually, couldn't they?
It'd be an awesome match. I think just as a general...
It's a real shame Ali's not active. Ricochet versus Ali for the Intercontinental title would be a banger.
Could be a Mania match. Easily,
that would have been a banger, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, definitely.
Because he's technically a SmackDown star, isn't he?
Technically, yeah. The only thing I had on this was I like Johnny Knoxville's Intercontinental Chump t-shirt for us. So
I thought Sammy's reaction afterwards, his promo, was throwing stuff around backstage, going absolutely nuts. I thought this was really good as well. And then he sort of just stared down the camera and challenged Johnny Knoxville. I thought it was really good. As always from Sammy, he's great at that kind of stuff. And then Johnny responded later in the show with that t-shirt on. So the match is definitely happening, and I am glad it's a non-title match. I was just worried about the Intercontinental title. I'm not worried about the Intercontinental title in the sense that Ricochet having it's great, but I don't know what it's going to be, what the match is going to be. I have no idea. Hopefully tomorrow we get some sort of inkling.
As long as there is a match, it's not left off Mania.
Yeah, that would be real shame.
Sure,
even if it's on the pre-show.
Nights, you couldn't do that.
Yeah, they have to have every belt.
Yeah.
One match that we know is on Mania is Austin Theory v Pat McAfee. I think we all predicted this. I think this was quite a predictable outcome after McAfee got promised a match by Vince on his show. And it seems to just be a match for Vince's love, I guess. I don't really know what, but it's good. I liked Austin Theory's promo. I've been big on Austin Theory for a long time since he's come up to the main roster. I think he's looked really good. And I think this will be a really good match because Theory's decent in ring and Pat McAfee can go, can't he? We saw this in NXT.
Yeah, definitely. I'm quite looking forward to this. I wonder whether Vince is going to be at ringside as well.
Yeah, I think he will be.
He's going to do something, isn't he?
Yep.
But also how into it Pat McAfee got. It was as if it felt real, the way he was sort of going off on the microphone.
Randomly, he was blaming Michael Cole as well.
Yeah, swearing and all sorts, wasn't he? But yeah, cool.
Which is weird because on the show, when McAfee interviewed Vince, he was like, Michael Cole's great, and Vince was like horrible human being, which is really funny. And then McAfee was blaming him, so I don't know if that's going to play into it as well. But I don't know, maybe not.
I think they just like bullying Michael Cole.
And I noticed Pat McAfee and Corey Graves having jibes at each other over this as well.
Oh yeah, Corey Graves can wrestle now, can't he?
So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if there's even some sort of angle there, or maybe that could be a future
SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Probably.
But yeah, this is okay, and I'm glad they did the reveal quickly because it's not like a major WrestleMania match, but I do think it'll be good. I've got a feeling because I've seen a lot of people like putting this match. There's a couple of matches at Mania, like, oh, look at this Mania card, and they've used this as an example of like why it's rubbish. And I'm like, have you seen Pat McAfee? He's great.
He was in War Games quite loud.
He's good.
He was in War Games.
He hit Panama Sunrise, didn't he?
Yeah, he had a great match against Adam Cole. I know Adam Cole was a great wrestler, but he's quality.
It'll be good. I think it'll be very entertaining, especially if Vince is involved as well. I think it'll be very entertaining.
Yeah, definitely. We got a little bit of Roman and just a Roman promo, just saying he's going to smash Brock at Mania. And this was obviously the night before they had their MSG title defense, which we saw pictures of on Raw, but it kind of links in here was he just destroyed Brock and stood over him on the steps with both belts.
He got very angry in this promo. Got really fired up. It was a good promo. The actual most interesting thing about the segment for me was actually the Usos randomly attacking Boogs and Nakamura, because I was thinking, what have Boogs and Nakamura sort of doing it? Because they'd already had their weird they're doing like random outside activities promo at the moment. They're like skiing and stuff and driving around. They'd already done that earlier in the show. I was thinking, what are they doing here? But then the Usos attack them on the entrance ramp on the way in. So I'm assuming that's setting up that as the tag team title match for Mania, because Usos then obviously beat the Viking Raiders after this.
Yeah, that was the other thing from this segment, wasn't it? It was Usos beat Viking Raiders. Just a nothing.
It's kind of predictable. Really. I don't know why they didn't just do that at the Saudi show a few weeks back. Really, I thought if they're building it to Mania, fair enough, but they're clearly not. So I don't really know why they didn't just.
Either they didn't have enough time, or one of them had a bit of a niggly injury, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, who knows? All right, I'm just gonna get into a skid mark here. I'm gonna get and it's on a SmackDown one, unfortunately, and this isn't even really that big a skid mark, but it's just something that's just kind of niggles at me. I've probably had little niggles in previous weeks, but the use of props on SmackDown in particular, but there's a few examples I just don't like. I haven't liked Drew McIntyre's sword for a long time. It's stupid. And this week he nearly stabbed Corbin in the head, threw it into the dartboard.
I didn't mind that so much.
We had, I mentioned this last week, Biggie and Kofi on that bloody ATV like buggy thing. And the match they were meant to have a tag team match. Oh no, it was meant to be Big E v Sheamus. It was meant to be, and Rich Holland was hitting an ATV of a steel chair, and then they went backstage and destroyed it to set up that feud. I just not a big fan of these kind of angles over a certain like objects. Like the whole reason Corbin and McIntyre feuded in the first place was because he stole his sword. And put it in. He put his sword into a desk and then he stole the desk, didn't he? It was such a ridiculous angle. And the other thing it's on Raw, but probably not going to mention it otherwise, is Omos's ridiculous camera angle where for some reason the cameraman's led on the floor looking up at him to make him look bigger. It's just stupid. I just don't. They don't need to do that. And like the Omos thing as well. That was an interview with and the interviewer was off camera and he was on his own. It'd look more impressive if he had someone next to him because he's so much bigger than anyone else. That's a better way to show his size than laying on the floor and looking up. But yeah, it's just a little moan about all these stupid little things they do.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. The thing with the New Day is they've always been very prop heavy, haven't they? Pancakes, bootios.
They brought out
the trumpet with that Woods brings out Francesca. I forgot his name.
They make sure you ain't booty.
But they've always been.
It's been a while since I've heard that.
They've always been very prop heavy. The New Day. So I'm not surprised they've got that now. But it just seems a shame that they've put that in, but they've taken away Shotzi's tank.
That's what I did actually mind.
That was a good prop.
Yeah, this just unnecessary, in my opinion. Anything else from SmackDown, guys?
I think there was something else, but
the only thing that I wanted to mention, but I can't even remember the exact line, was Madcap coming out with a funny joke for once when he was talking to Drew, and it just involved pooing in the bath. I don't know if anyone remembers that.
Yeah, I do remember that one was quite good, and then he told another one later on, and all the guys were just looking at him like. So yeah, that was on purpose, But it's all right. This feud's just I don't know how it's been like a 4 or 5 month long feud. It's crazy.
It's just because they don't know what to do with Drew. Because unfortunately, you can't have Drew lose. So if he goes in a title match, he can't really lose. Just a shame Corbin. Well, they're saying that Corbin's bigging up this thing at the moment that he's never lost.
I did like that actually. That he mentioned he beat Kurt Angle and he won Andre the Giant. He's got a fair point. Like he's got a better record.
I did actually write down my notes that his WrestleMania resume is actually not bad at all.
Yeah.
And that is something, obviously. And he's unbeaten as the Happy Corbin character. Yeah, he's not had many matches.
I just hope he doesn't squash him, though. That'd be silly if Drew squashes Corbin. I want him to put up a fight.
I think it'd be a 5-10 minute match. I don't think it'd be a squash match.
That's fine. Yeah, 10 minutes is good. Get him to hit the old deep six and as Keeney likes to say, no one's kicked out at the end of days. maybe Drew is the first person to do this. No. To actually give it.
I don't want anyone to ever kick out of it. I want it to be protected forever. Yeah.
Forever and ever.
Yeah.
In a couple of years when we've got Roman Reigns versus Corbin for the belt.
Yeah, Corbin wins. All right, let's move on to Raw then.
Yep.
I mean, I can go straight from a skid mark into a top mark if you want. I can go to the other extreme. And my top mark for this week is Edge. Just his promo was beautiful.
Edge is lapping up the top marks, isn't he?
Yeah,
his presentation of it that was so good.
His entrance was stunning. Like it's one of those you just sit and watch the his music kit then stopped. There's just silence, and he's got this like purple light on him, and he's in a suit. And I kind of noted how this is opposite of his normal entrance, where music's loud, there's like smoke everywhere. He's running, he's got like energy, whereas here he is calm, like almost a bit like manipulative, like just really in control. And his first line to his promo was, "You think you know me," and I was like, "Oh, it's beautiful! Like what a great opening line." And I don't have all of his promo here, but also his final line I really liked as well. If I can find it.
You should read out his promo all the way through.
No, but his last line I thought was really good as well. He said, "I'm standing on the mountain of omnipotence, and the view is phenomenal." And then the camera just went away.
Oh,
yeah. I just think it's amazing from Edge. You don't even need AJ there to make this.
No, he's one of the best talkers in the business at the moment, Edge.
Yeah,
he really
and
is.
He's always so like amped up for his promos. This was so different to what he's been doing recently.
He's an amazing heel, isn't he? He was 10 years ago.
He is in the zone. He is just.
And I like you say, didn't need AJ that. I think it added to it that AJ didn't. If AJ had come out, I'd have been a bit annoyed because of how much of a beating he took last week. So I'm glad that they just had Edge do this, and then maybe do another one next week, and then the week after, literally leave it to the last week before Mania, before AJ comes back. Leave some doubt that the match might not even happen. And then AJ comes back and gets his revenge on the last show before Mania or something like that.
Yeah, this is currently the match I'm most looking forward to at Mania.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. In terms of in ring, 100%. Because
cannot wait for it.
I'd love them to leave it a bit unknown. So AJ comes back, but Edge manages to escape. I don't want an angle with either of them looking worse for wear, because that tends to give us an idea of what's going to happen.
I know. See what you're saying. Yeah,
I love the unknown.
I also think we could get an AJ promo without Edge there. Like they did this with MJF and Punk, where one had a promo one week and then
you don't always
the other one didn't respond. This week was great, and I think it maybe in a couple of weeks sell the injury for AJ a bit, and maybe before Mania, AJ just cuts a promo like Edge just did, because we know he can. And I think that's the way to build it. But
that'd be amazing.
Yeah, really into it.
Yeah, really good stuff. It was one of the best things on Raw. For sure. But
I really liked the opener, actually, showing the Madison Square Garden segment. That was an incredible segment. That easily could have been on Raw, couldn't it? I absolutely loved that.
Yeah, that was really good. What else from Raw?
So I think maybe we go straight into my top mark.
Yeah.
So we had a triple threat for the tag team titles, and this was chaos. This match could have easily been at Mania. So we had Seth and KO, Otis and Gable, and RK Bro. And man, did they go. There were so good spots. And the crowd, as we know, were just insanely into this. Orton at the moment is just getting the I think he's one of the most put over wrestlers ever at the moment.
He's mad,
and he said it himself. At the end of his promo,
I love that
won the title. He basically said, "This is the most fun I've had."
And I believed him as well.
Being in wrestling,
he called Riddle his friend.
He says, "I'm going to use the F word."
But I think this is playing. I think this is now. I know we've spoke about this probably for the best part of a year now. I think this is starting to play into a long game of when Riddle turns on Orton. It is going to be such a big deal because he's now said, "You're my friend."
It has to be that way around now.
It has to be, yeah.
Because Orton's finally become someone's friend. He actually likes him.
Yeah.
So
and also,
Riddle's turn on him
he is currently more over than Riddle with the fans, Orton. They're well into him. So, they have to do that.
And that ending with Gable doing a moonsault and Randy catching the RKO.
That was one of the best RKOs ever.
Was incredible.
It wasn't actually the proper finish to the match, was it? But
no. It was crazy towards the end.
That was some RKO.
Finisher City.
Yeah,
it was blink and you miss it stuff.
It was a stunner into a stomp, and then Riddle pushed him out of the ring.
Absolutely ruined. What a wrestler Gable's though.
All six of these people are incredible in this match. All of them deserve a lot of credit.
They all have such a spot, don't they? They all have a place to be. And Otis is hanging with him. He's great. Yeah, I absolutely love this, and that's why it's my top mark.
Yeah, no, I fully agree with you. And I loved how after the match, the reactions of Seth and KO. Seth is in a trance, isn't he? Just walks off.
They both just look so destroyed. They're not going to Mania.
Yeah. And that's good. I love seeing the agony of defeat sometimes. You need to see how much this means to people that lose, because you don't always see that.
I want to see Gable and Otis's reaction next week. That's the only one thing I will say. I hope they don't get forgotten from this, because I think they've been so good in this.
I don't think they will. They're right behind them, aren't they?
I'm hoping they're in the tag match at Mania. Not a one-on-one rematch, but in the match, because I think Street Profits are going to be in it from their promo that they cut.
I think so.
But I think you can do a multi-man tag thing here, because if the other tag team feud looks like it's probably going to be a one-on-one feud, 2-on-2, one team and one team. Here you could maybe the Raw tag division's been quite strong. I think you can get away with having like a triple threat tag team match or something.
Yeah, it has. The only slight negative on this whole segment, and it was amazing, was that they seemed to build up the fact of having a match at WrestleMania seemed to be bigger than actually winning the belts. They kind of didn't mention it was for the belts for a long time. They were like, "Oh, the winner of this is definitely going to Mania." Like, yeah, that's good, but
I guess that makes the match even bigger because you're champions and that means you defend it.
And also, it's like, Mania. And the losers won't be at Mania. Well, but someone has to face the champions. Like,
yeah, it's stupid when they were saying like, "Oh, there's no chance you're gonna, you're not gonna be at Mania."
Yeah.
As if they're gonna leave Seth and KO off the main card.
Yeah. Well, we can move on to that.
It'll be very interesting. I don't know what Seth's going to be doing, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah. Well, we know what KO's doing, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, amazing promo.
Fan.
I am Stone Cold's biggest fan. He mentioned earlier in the night that he had an epiphany KO. He'd start some details and then comes to the ring. It's been, I mean, again, this isn't a shock. We actually broke this in our news segment about 5 weeks ago that this was going to happen. But I like how he went through all of the Texans he could.
This was brilliant.
Invite JBL, Booker T, Shawn Michaels.
I loved his lines. Some of his lines here. Booker T was like, you're from Texas. You're in a tag team called Harlem Heat. Proper mocking him. And then he was like, Shawn Michaels, I'm not inviting you because I'm Canadian and it'd be disrespectful to Bret Hart with the history that Bret and Shawn have. I just thought this is brilliant stuff. Really, really good.
And then he also invited Stone Cold, who then accepted a couple of days later or the day after, maybe.
It was the day after, yeah.
Yeah, day after. So we're going to get the KO show with Stone Cold, which is going to be interesting, to say the least.
Yeah.
Who knows what's going to happen? There's going to be stunners.
They were talking about it. The thing is, they've advertised it as the KO show, so they're not advertising a match. So they're not misleading anyone if a match doesn't happen. But I think they still want a match. Because the way Austin was talking, the way the commentary were talking, he hasn't done this in 19 years. He's appeared in WWE plenty of times. Yeah. He's been on chat shows. He's been at Mania doing segments.
He was during the pandemic as well. He was there. I remember there was an empty arena.
That was like the very first one, wasn't
it?
Yeah. So he's been at Mania. He's done segments. He's done all sorts. He hasn't had a match, so they're advertising it. And even Austin in his promo, which is great, by the way, coming out of his car, and he still talks better than 90% of modern wrestlers.
Nice. He's a natural.
Yeah. Even in that, it did hint towards there could be a match. I'm not going to be disappointed either way. I think a segment with KO and Austin is going to be incredibly entertaining. I think it's the perfect person for Austin to be in there with, Stunner versus Stunner, the charisma of Owens, and whatever it is, I'm looking forward to it. If we get an actual match, amazing. If we don't, still going to be great, I'm sure. I'm just really looking forward to this.
Yeah, I agree. Anything?
Yeah, I have nothing. No, nothing to add really. It's just going to be awesome. I can't wait to hear that glass smash.
Yeah.
That it's just going to be incredible.
One thing I will say, talking to glass smashing, they kind of played his entrance at the end of Raw, and I think the crowd got excited and thought he was there. I thought that was
in my house. In my house, pops.
Well, it was weird because
we were like,
I would have done, but I could see that there was only like 20 seconds left of Raw. Because I was thinking, is Austin coming out? And I was like, well, it can't be because there's not enough time. Then they played his music on and then put the screen up saying, WrestleMania. They put the thing up saying WrestleMania KO show. But they actually played the glass shadow and I could hear the crowd react.
Yeah.
And I thought, them poor people have just bought that. Like, they've just
That's what I bought. I bought it. I was suckered right in. The fishing rod out for me.
A glide and sinker.
So I just feel a bit bad for them in that sense. WWE really trolled them a bit there, I think. But yeah, still great. It is.
What else we get? We got The Miz with his promo, and he got cheered with
at the start. Yeah,
seen the Miz get a good reaction.
He does get it in Cleveland. It's the only place. It's like the only place
I loved it.
This was a weird one for me because he was so like, praising Cleveland and like, it was like, you guys get it. And all of a sudden, Jerry Lawler was there for some reason. I don't think Jerry Lawler needed to be there for this, but fine. And then he was like, I think we can have the best Mania at Cleveland. All of a sudden, Miz just turns. It was like a really random, no reason to turn. It was so weird. I don't know why it happened. Just
has typical Miz style.
Yeah, really confused as to what. Like there was no like trigger for Miz to turn there. It just decided.
Well, it was him suggesting that WrestleMania should host a thing, and he was like, "No, it shouldn't." Whereas Logan Paul was actually agreeing with him.
Yeah, it's just a strange segment. And I was like, why is Jerry Lawler here? What's going on here? But yeah,
it's only there because he's from there. He was there. He's under contract. It's an easy thing to do. It was fine, and it was a bit of a waste of Jerry Lawler. He was only there for about a minute. Felt like,
and it didn't really build up to Mysterio's match either.
No, they weren't there, were they?
It's just a weird segment. It didn't really.
It was a bit
have anything other than for the crowd that were there. Probably had a good time, but
yeah, I enjoyed the Miz's sort of going from babyface to heel almost there. But other than that, it was a bit pointless, really.
Is there anything else?
Yeah, I've got the skid mark from Raw actually.
Oh, go on then.
Well, the women's tag titles. So Zelina and Carmella have had them for quite a while now because there's no other teams to challenge them, and they've got to WrestleMania season and suddenly thought, oh shit, we need this belt defended at Mania. And I was praising it last week because I do think Naomi and Sasha make sense as a tag team. Their history in the past, they both deserve to be on the Mania card. From Naomi, like I said last week, I think she's really earned a spot on it recently, and you can't have a Mania without Sasha Banks on it. That would just be ludicrous. So I get them having that, and I thought, one-on-one tag match with them, that's fine. And then with no explanation whatsoever, Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley were a team. Again, two people who maybe deserve to be on the WrestleMania card based on the last few months, but if find something else for them to do, because why did you see them together? There was no reason for it. And again, it was beat them and you're in. And so Carmella and Zelina have taken a beating in the back.
Have they ever won a match other than the title match? Won a match?
It's the same booking with every tag team, every women's tag team. This happens because there's no other tag team. So the storyline they do is you beat them and then you get in there. And I think Naomi beat Carmella in a singles match on SmackDown, which we didn't mention. And then they had the tag team match here. And obviously Rhea and Liv won. So Rhea and Liv are on the card, which, I'm glad they're on the card. Rhea and Liv Morgan deserve to have a match at WrestleMania. But why can't they do some women's singles feuds that aren't for titles?
Yeah.
Like, they do so many men's matches that aren't for titles. But every women's match has to be for a title. You could have done your match, Keeney, that you've been suggesting for months of Rhea and Alexa Bliss, because Alexa Bliss isn't doing anything. You could have done...
She hasn't appeared again.
Yeah.
You could have even done something with Liv, and I don't know, you could brought in like Beth Phoenix or a Lita or a legend like that. I don't know, are Bailey, Asuka, Lacey Evans, all these people are not on the roster at the moment. Are any of them cleared to wrestle? You could bring them back before Mania if so. There's Nikki ASH, this Doudrop there, not on the card. Like you could do, there's plenty of things you could do here. You don't necessarily have to force tag teams all the time just because you haven't got any. If you're going to build them over the course of months and then have a match, if Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley had built over time and then they come together here to take on, I would be fine with it. But it feels like, I wouldn't surprise me if we get a fourth team added. And
well, I was going to say, I don't think they'll be the last team added to this match.
What was interesting on SmackDown is Natalya was watching it, wasn't she? And I was thinking, I wrote in my notes, Natalya is going to find a partner and they're going to be added. Probably like Shayna Baszler or something.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
For no reason whatsoever. But yeah, it's just do something else with your women. Have some singles matches on the cards. I would have loved that match like you suggested, Keeney. If Rhea Ripley v Alexa Bliss would have been a good one. But yeah, that's my skid mark because I just don't really understand why they're doing that. It's just silly, isn't it? It just shows how much they care about that division.
Well, just an FYI, the team name is Live for Brutality, just so you know.
Right, okay.
I watched Raw Talk and they said it on there.
So they actually are. They're putting Rhea Ripley in a team permanently again.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing is Rhea Ripley. We just said was in a team Nikki Ash for so long. Got
So
out
this
of
is
it.
a skid mark for me then, if that's the case. I really do like Liv Morgan, but I believe both of those should be single competitors because they're good enough to be that.
Yeah, and I know Naomi and Sasha are as well, but I do think you can build a feud into.
Yeah,
I think there's a story there. From history
definitely.
that they could win the titles and you can have an almost like Sasha and Bailey style run.
Well,
and then eventually you can have Sasha turn on Naomi. One of them could win the women's championship. The other one can challenge for it. I think you can do that with them.
Yeah.
But Rhea and Liv, there's not anything there to base it on.
No, it's silly. But they've got a team name.
Thank you, Keeney.
You're welcome.
I believe as well. I think one of the Bellas teased is on the bump or something next week and has spoken about it. So don't be surprised if even they got added to the match.
Well, I wouldn't mind that.
I wouldn't mind that because
they did eliminate Carmella and Zelina from the Royal Rumble.
That'd be a good idea.
There was actually a story.
That wouldn't be a bad idea as a fourth team. It wouldn't. Yeah. If you're going to do a fourth team, have them.
Like I say, it will be Natalia and Shayna and Shotzi and Aaliyah probably. It's gonna be weird teams like that. Honestly, they're gonna throw anyone.
Tamina and Dana Brooke.
Yeah.
Come together.
Aaliyah and
get bored of kissing people.
And Xia Li. Well, that happened again, didn't it? We've got a lot of kissing on. What's happened to the 24/7 title, but it's just Snog City, isn't it? It's a weird. I said I liked it last week with Tozawa and Tamina. I'm already gone off it. I don't like it.
It's a bit too much, isn't it?
And he called Tamina the love of his life.
Yeah, that was a bit weird. I nearly skid marked that, but I thought I'd leave it.
It's just
I don't care enough about it for it to bother me. One thing I also don't care enough about, there's a little segue there, is you mentioned him earlier in your skid mark, Kearney, but Omos teased having a match with Commander Aziz here.
Don't care.
In a match that nobody's asked for.
Yeah, but it's just two big guys, isn't it? That's all it is.
I think what they're leading to, if they're going to do something there, if they're doing a battle royal this year, if they are, I don't know if they are, but I mean, they do like to do the Android Giant battle royal. Have them two in there, dominant big guys, and then one of them can win. Omos can win that or something. That's what you should do there. Don't do it as an actual match because nobody has asked for that. Nobody.
No. Yeah, no, I completely agree. Absolute nonsense.
I'm interested to see it, but Omos is just going to squash Commander Aziz.
I don't think it'll be very good either. I haven't seen enough of Aziz to judge him.
Yeah, I don't really know.
I think Omos needs good people to carry him in a match. I don't, most of the people. I mean, he's wrestled against people like AJ Styles, and he made him look all right because he can make anyone look all right. Apollo didn't do too bad a job here, and again, Apollo is a very good wrestler. Commander Aziz and Omos, I'm not sure would be a good match at all.
No, I agree.
Very skiddy.
Anything else from Raw?
There is one more thing, and it actually was a couple but one of them leads on to NXT. So it's a segue.
Should we start with Theory and Balor?
Yeah, I was going to say there's that as well.
Yeah, and
do you want to go on?
Not too much to say, but Priest interferes, and I thought he looked really awesome in his gear.
Yeah, same.
His ring gear he had on looked awesome. It's like full heel. The gear has changed. That means it's solidified.
Yeah, very good. And we got some more selfies from Theory afterwards as well with Balor's body. He did his finisher on him.
Yeah,
which is quite cool.
But yeah, we're definitely going to get a demon because Priest just keeps beating the crap out of it, and that's got to lead to only one thing, and that's Balor coming out as the demon, which I'm all for. That'll be a great match, I reckon.
That'll be amazing, yeah.
I really reckon it'll be good.
Wrestler match.
Yeah, as long as he puts up a fight.
I think
no top ropes get snapped.
Oh yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
Or bottom ropes. Any rope, no ropes.
So the other thing from Raw was, which leads nicely onto NXT, was Bron Breakker. It's probably worth mentioning that he had his Raw debut, and I think we're going to be seeing I've got a feeling we're going to be seeing a lot of him on Raw now. Very soon. Vince McMahon took one look at him and took the NXT title off him. I think that says a lot. It was like, you're too good to be on NXT. You're not too good to be on NXT, but I'm having a bit of that.
Please don't do a carrying cross on me. Please
I don't think he's done
carrying
cross. I don't think they're going to do
Come
that.
out in some weird helmet and
yeah, we use the same one.
Yeah, so Braun, I thought this match was a showcase for him. It felt like as well. Ciampa's got worked over. Braun got a hot tag, and he just had power spots, and he got a pin on Ziggler, didn't he?
Yeah, that was definitely to put him over.
And I was thinking, right, okay, they're introducing him to the Raw audience here. And at the time, I was a bit annoyed Ziggler took the pin. I was like, they're having a triple threat match for the title tomorrow. Why aren't you pinning Bobby Roode?
Yeah.
But when we get to NXT,
which we're going to right now.
Right now, let's segue straight onto that, Mr. Top Mark.
I'm here to show the world. I loved, by the way, before we get to the match, Ziggler, they all did little promos before, but when Ziggler was coming to the ring, he was like, play my music, the good one.
Yeah.
I love that.
Was good.
He knows that the combined music sucks. And I enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was good. That was
Fisher
good.
lobbing a random skid mark in the middle of the top.
I love that he said it because no one ever says their music sucks, do they? Really?
That was good.
But yes, so I mean,
do you remember when Ziggler used to come out? Sorry to interrupt, but do you remember when Ziggler used to just come out to and then just silence and just walk out?
Yeah,
yeah,
and other people's theme music for a while.
Yeah, no, it was
I remember him doing Naomi's.
That could be a good skid mark noise.
Good. But yes,
this
some
is the
skid
top
mark
mark.
noise, the top mark. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know what to give my top mark this week. There were so many things in AEW that could have got it. The Raw tag match, I was going to give it to, but Krusty had it as well.
I slinkied in there,
Obviously, we're not including anything from Revolution in this. This was a separate show, and otherwise, everything from that would probably be a top mark. We'll get to AEW in a minute. This from NXT, I really like this match, and I really like. Although I've seen some people criticize it, I really like the fact that Ziggler won the title. Obviously, because I'm a Ziggler fan, but also, people were like, "Oh, I saw some comments like, "Oh, Braun's been buried already," and I'm like, "No, he didn't take the pin. He's going up, not down.
Yeah.
Like that's the reason they want to put him on the main roster and push him." And yeah, I mean, he didn't. Like I say, it took a lot to pin even Ciampa in this match. Ziggler nearly won like 3 or 4 times, and I was like, "Wow, we nearly won." And then eventually did win. It was a great match. Ciampa's a great wrestler. Ziggler's a great wrestler, and Braun, just his power and rawness added to it.
And also,
really, really good.
We got to see Braun Breaker's bottom, didn't we? And he went to grab him out the ring, and
I wasn't sure that was meant to happen. But,
yeah, no, I don't think it was either. But I just found that quite funny.
But this felt like a legit shock that you don't get that very often. I like shocks and I like sort of swerves.
What, seeing someone's ass or?
No, not that. No, not that. The actual the title change was the shock. That was a shock as well, but I wasn't so pleased.
There was nearly a skid mark.
Oh dear.
Oh God.
But yes,
it was a nice change.
I'm pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see what Ziggler does as champ. How long he's going to stick around for. What's the stand and deliver match they're going to go for? Are they going to go back to Breaker Ziggler? Are they going to go Ciampa Ziggler? Are they going to do Ziggler someone else? I would like to see Gunther face Ziggler and win the belt off Ziggler. That's what I want to see.
I'll tell you what I'd like to see, guys, which has only just appeared in my head. Because I was thinking, well, what's going to happen to Bobby Roode? Bobby Roode versus Ziggler, but full glorious mode. Because, I mean, he was a great champion.
Yeah.
You could have a bit of an angle there, couldn't you? Where he's jealous of him.
Yes, Ziggler did help him. Roode did help him win in this match.
You could have a good angle there. And I mean,
I would. The only thing about that is, there's enough criticism already, because the criticism is obviously you're building all these new people. You've got all these NXT 2.0 guys, and you put a guy that's it's been around nearly bloody 20 years, has got the NXT title. And I get it to an extent, but I think the perfect thing to do with it is you do Ziggler, then put someone new over. That's the whole point, right? And
I think it's a good idea to have someone come down. I like it.
Hayes would be amazing.
Balor did a great job when he came down.
Carmelo would be a great pick. I think personally, I would like to see this match at Mania, not on Takeover. I think you could, because it's a main roster. They've been on Raw. I think if you're introducing Breaker to Raw, I think you can have. You've had the NXT Women's title defended at WrestleMania before. I don't see a reason. I know you've got Stand and Deliver the day before, but it leaves room on the card. I think that North American ladder match can main event that show.
Yeah.
Do that, your big women's match, your women's Dusty Cup final, and a couple of other matches on that show. And then you can showcase the NXT title at WrestleMania and do Breaker Ziggler 1-on-1 at Mania.
Yeah.
And you could have Breaker win the title back, and that can be another crown if you plan to keep on NXT, or you can have Ziggler shockingly beat Breaker somehow.
Cheeky interference.
And that leads to Breaker coming up to the main roster.
Or you could have Seth cost Breaker, and then that leads to Seth and Breaker as his first feud.
I've just realised we didn't even say anything about Seth, did we?
Well, no, I said he walked off looking.
I know, but in terms of where it leaves him,
who knows with Seth?
Because he's the only one now that's got no obvious path to Mania.
Cody Rhodes.
Well, he's the one, isn't he? But if that doesn't happen, then I have no idea what's happening with Seth, because he needs a big match at Mania. I don't want him to just be on the Stone Cold thing with Kevin, just stood there. Because I think that would be, if you have both of them doing it, that would be a waste.
Costs Roman the belt.
But Raw is in Jacksonville next week, in the home of AEW. That would be the perfect time to debut Cody and Seth. It would be the perfect time to Seth to cut just like a really annoyed promo next week, and then Cody come out or something. But anyway, that's Raw talk.
Yeah.
Really, but yeah, so that was I really enjoyed the NXT main event, and I like the fact that Ziggler is champ, because as long as he shouldn't have a long run reign with it, he should be used to put someone over fresh and new, and there's plenty of guys you can do it to in NXT. So
LA Knight,
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, well, we can move on to LA Knight now.
Cheeky segue. This was an amazing match. Waller versus LA Knight. Crowds were insane again. I'm loving the crowds at the moment. Everyone seems to be so excited, no matter what brand you're on.
Yeah,
I know it can be quite confusing sometimes if they're what fake crowd noise they're playing. But
yeah, I was gonna say sometimes on Raw and SmackDown, it can be. I mean, the crowd on Raw this week was good, I have to say.
It was, yeah.
But sometimes the SmackDown and Raw crowds can be a bit dead. But NXT's got a great crowd all the time. Because it's that small little crowd. I think it's the same people a lot of the time as well. I think they're so into it.
Yeah. It's in the same place every time, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, so it's a lot of the same people.
Season tickets or whatever they have. There were some cool spots in this, like when Waller went off the top of the scaffolding or whatever it was, and then just Sanga came around carrying him.
Yeah.
That plays into his character so well. And then it was sick when Waller went for his finisher, which is really cool, by the way. It's like a super rolling stunner.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah,
it's crazy. But Knight then caught him and launched him over the top rope, just through a table.
Yeah, through a table. Yeah,
that was a cool shot.
Bad. I thought this was an amazing match.
And the finish as well, the elbow drop from the turnbuckle through the announce.
That was a great elbow.
Shane O'Mac vibes.
It was.
And it was a bit like Shane O'Mac, actually. Yeah,
I quite liked how Waller kind of used Sanga to get back up. It was quite a cool. A cool ending to the match, and that's the end of this now. Surely they can't carry on this feud.
Knight is lost and lost and lost.
Yeah, well,
I think he's coming up to the main roster. I really do.
I also think he's someone. I don't think losses really affect him. I think
he's just so over with a crowd. It doesn't matter.
If you were told next week it's LA Knight v Ziggler at Stand and Deliver for the belt, you'd be like, oh, fair enough, yeah. Like him losing doesn't mean he's not a top tier guy, I don't think, in NXT.
No, the crowd are so into chanting and his other stuff, you know.
Yeah. It is great.
Hey, Knight.
Yeah, they love it. So I think it's fine.
He's a great heel, great face. I think he needs to do well. And my only concern is he gets EC3'd, because
that is exactly who he reminds me of.
EC3.
That's who he reminds me of.
I don't think EC3 was ever as popular as LA Knight is right now, though, to be honest. And I actually think LA Knight's probably better in the ring. Probably. It's, I'm not confident enough to say that, but I don't remember many EC3 matches that I thought were like outstanding. Whereas LA Knight's had some really good stuff, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. They're close, I think.
But they did still mess up EC3. There's no doubt about that.
Well, his best attribute was his promos, and they had him not talk at all on Raw. He's a mute. That was his character.
He literally just followed like Dean Ambrose round being a mute and getting pinned by him every week. It was so stupid.
Bizarre. Let's move on to the tag titles. We were due to have the Creed brothers versus Imperium, but the Creed brothers were taken out.
They love a whodunit
in the
angle.
car park. They do love it. And then MSK said they'll step up, and then the Creed brothers interrupted the tag title match, which I think means we're going to get a 3-way match at Stand and Deliver for the tag belts. So I think MSK have wormed their way into the tag because they've got a case now to say, well, we had a bet match and we never lost our title shot. So I think
I didn't like the way they were just kind of giving one here. Really,
yeah, especially as they're the team that lost the Dusty Cup final.
Yeah,
like
it did feel a bit dodgy. If it was a heel team that weren't that way in, I'd feel a bit more better about it. But
do you reckon there's a chance MSK actually took out the Creeds and then they're going to turn heel?
I'll tell you who I think it is in a minute because there's a murder mystery to solve here. Not a murder.
There is.
Who do you think it is?
Yeah.
I think it's
Inspector Clouseau.
I think it's Briggs and Jensen.
No.
Brooks and Jensen. Yeah. Based on their reaction, they were like, "Oh, we wouldn't do that. We're nice guys." And then I've got a feeling that
I hate
to impress women
at the moment.
They want to be like, because he's too nice and he's too like, you know what I mean? I think it fits into that.
I hope that happens because they bore me at the moment.
I think it's jacket time.
No, come on.
No, I'm joking. Yeah, I think it's MSK. That's what I think. I think
you actually think it's MSK. Yeah. I'd like it to be MSK. I wouldn't mind MSK turning heel. To be fair, I think it'd be quite good.
I think you turn them heel and you turn the Creed brothers face.
It could just be Imperium, but that would be boring if it is.
That would be boring, yeah.
Or Legado, because they do that all the time. It's not going to be Legado, sure.
No, it's not.
They literally, that's what they do, like, constantly.
In the car park.
Because that's why Brooks and Jensen accuse them of like, oh, you're always hanging around in the car park doing this stuff. I just think it's them because they're the accusers. I think it's them. I honestly do.
Who do you think, Rusty?
Imperium.
Okay. Well, we've got.
I think it's probably MSK.
Yeah.
It's Wendy Chu and Dakota Kai.
I think they're a banging tag team.
And they're in the Dusty Cup final.
What a segue.
I know.
I think they're great. I'm really enjoying all their matches, to be honest. The only part I don't like, which you guys may like it, is when Wendy Chu is sleeping and people start to tiptoe. And even the referees like...
The commentator was whispering. I love that. I love that he whispered. I thought that was cool. I thought that was... I've never seen that before or heard that before. So I thought it was
There's
cool.
only so much they can do before it gets like...
I wouldn't want to do it over and over again, but it
gets
pops
too much. I don't mind a bit of playfulness, but this was too...
Well, do you know what? Like,
around the ring.
Yeah, like Cora J tiptoeing, I was like, oh, fair enough. But then when Raquel was I was like, Raquel Gonzalez is tiptoeing around. Come on, like she's like the brute force of NXT, like bit match.
I love Wendy Chu. I just really like her.
She is funny, and it's a very odd team. And we had Gigi and JC actually interfere here to help Wendy Chu and Dakota win.
I'm not sure what I make of this because afterwards, Cora Jade attacked Mandy. Are we getting Cora Jade and Mandy Rose again? By the looks of it.
Probably, yeah. I mean,
at Stand and Deliver. That's what it looked like to me.
There is no obvious contender for Mandy Rose.
No, there isn't, and I don't really want to see that match again. Really, we've seen it already.
Well, it was the triple threat, wasn't it, with Raquel? I think.
Yeah, I suppose, but still, I don't know. I'm not really fussed on that.
Yeah, but the other finalist we got was Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray, who qualified for the final.
I thought Carter and
they were awesome.
So good now.
Yeah, they're like a proper team. They
were really flying around that ring. There were some cool spots in there. I thought they looked really good. They look
cool as well. Their gear looks good as well now. They've really changed themselves up.
Well, I think they should get a bit more of a push going forward.
Well, yeah, your skid mark fish kind of applies here because they've just thrown teams together here in this Dusty Cup.
Oh, I've criticised it every week.
And like, there's a proper team here in Casey and Caden who have worked hard. They're really good in ring. They've got a cool look, and they're being pushed aside for two singles people, really, Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray, who are probably going to win this now, aren't they? I think so. Or do you think Wendy Dakota can win?
It could. At least now it is a little bit unpredictable. I think either of them could. but yeah, I mean, I don't really mind who wins. I guess KLR and EO would probably be the better match. But I don't know. I like Wendy Chu and Dakota Kai, so not really that fast. I think either of them could win and could beat Toxic Attraction. So it's not the end of the world either way, I don't think.
No, what did you guys make of Idris Sanofi and Manic Blade beating up the people,
it was
people
right.
And becoming the waiters for Mandy Rose. Yeah,
it was a fun little spot, wasn't it?
Just an extra thing. What else did we get? I mean, we keep getting these weird Carmelo Hayes in his barbers doing.
Yeah, so they were talking about
barbers,
how many people should be in the ladder match. It looks like we're getting 4 people, and they're all going to good luck. The good thing is they're doing qualifiers, so we're going to get. I'm guessing the next couple of weeks we'll get.
We've got the first one next week. Grimes v Escobar is the first.
Oh, I didn't even see that. That's a good one to start.
I love this sort of build. I love like a proper real build. If you see what I mean,
and he's like
real
a real
life.
cocky heel. Like, I'll take on everyone, bring him on. But you've got to qualify first. Yeah, it's
and I like qualifying.
So cool.
I like tournament formats. It makes it. You get so many more people
feel
involved.
Prestigious. Yeah.
We love it too.
You get so many more people involved in the mix, don't you? You get so many more people involved in the mix than just one person coming out and challenging.
Some new matches as well, don't you? That you've never seen.
Yeah, yeah. It should be. It should be
this
good.
Dusty Cup. We've never seen any of the. Well, we haven't seen any of these teams. Never mind competing.
No.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's fresh.
I'm excited.
So
that match is going to be mad when we actually get to it as well.
I imagine
it's going to steal the show. We got Fisher's favourite Fallon Henley.
I was going to mention that because you guys didn't know who she was and she had a match. I was like, come on, Fallon.
And she won.
Beat
Tiffany Stratton.
I mean, with the help of Saray. Obviously,
yeah,
I'm not a fan of the Saray Tiffany Stratton
proper
feud.
mid-card feud.
Mid-card might be generous, to be honest.
It might be. I actually think Tiffany Stratton's quite good, by the way.
I think
she's good in ring. She just needs to drop this character.
Yeah.
I think it's
one of her moves
more the
was
character.
like the Rikishi, but to the back of someone's head. She was like bumming the back of Fallon's head. On the rope.
Talking of sort of women storylines as well. So you've got Persia and there's a lot of women's storylines. I will give credit.
Oh yeah,
a lot of women news. Persia and Indy storyline continuing, and they're having a match next week to a better woman.
Quite cool, yeah.
That escalated quickly, didn't it?
Yeah, but the stand and deliver match is the mixed tag. I think. I think that's what this builds
I'm
to.
not going to be sold on.
Dexter Lumis and Duke Hudson.
I just can't get into Loomis now. Since the way he's gone, Loomis for me is just...
He's barely involved. He's barely doing anything at the moment, feels like. But the story is between Indy and Persia, really. And I think Persia's good in the ring. I think Indy's okay in the ring.
Yeah, so I think that'd be interesting. I'd rather them have a one-on-one.
They are next week. But yeah, I mean, Duke Hudson's kind of like involved in this as well. It's okay. It's all right. I think splitting them up might be the right decision if they're, they've had their time as a team.
Yeah, I think so. They weren't particularly great teams.
Yeah. And the other women's thing I want to talk about actually was nearly made my skid mark. I thought this was really, really bad. I hate this segment anyway, generally, which was lashing out of Lash Legend. I don't like this talk show. I don't know why it's there, but the acting and this promo work here, I just didn't like it. I thought it seemed so forced and false. And I like Nikita Lyons. I think she's made a really good impression. I thought she had a great debut.
It's such a shame because we even complimented Lash Legend in ring last week.
But the lines here, sort of saying, something about bum implants and stuff, and I was just like, come on. Yeah, do we really need to go down this route? Like,
it's not great, but
and they weren't well delivered either. I don't think.
It is another mid-card women's feud. It's like 3 or 4.
I'll give them credit for that. They're using the women a lot, but some of the storylines just aren't quite hitting the mark, unfortunately.
Yeah. Something I just want to quickly mention before we move on, unless there's anything else, was we're going to get A-Kid come up to NXT.
That's a really cool call up, I think.
Someone that we've seen on NXT UK for a while. I think he's really good.
He's great.
Really good in ring.
He's really good. I was surprised by this, actually.
Yeah, I was not expecting him to be called up. I think he's trained by Tyler Bate, wasn't he? I think A-Kid.
Possibly, yeah.
I'm pretty sure. But
he's cool. He'll be good in
really
He should go. I wouldn't mind him going straight into the ladder match. To be honest.
I think he'll have a qualifier and he might qualify for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think putting him in that card straight away, let him have a.
They're not shy to
spot.
do that, are they?
No.
I mean,
and it's not like he's
started.
Well, and it's not like he's an inexperienced one. He's been in NXT UK for a couple of years, killing it. So
I'm looking forward to people seeing him because obviously not many people will know him from.
Yeah, I've seen a few people that UK-based guys tweeting about him saying, "If you don't know this guy, watch him because he's very good." So yeah, a few UK-based sort of wrestling reporters and stuff saying that. So I mean, we've watched quite a lot of him. So, and I've always been quite impressed with him. I wonder what his character. I hope they don't give him because NXT 2.0 is full of like gimmicks. I wonder what they don't make him some sort of Spanish waiter or something cheesy like just.
Well, have you seen his recent gimmick on NXT UK where he's like trying to be friends with Saxon Huxley?
Yeah, I know.
It's a bit odd, but
I don't mind Saxon Huxley though. He's just so random. He's just mental.
Never thought he'd get mentioned on this podcast.
No, Saxon Huxley. Yeah, shout out to Saxon there.
Well done, mate. Anything else from NXT before we move on to AEW?
I think we've pretty much gone through every single segment there.
Yeah, I think so.
NXT, wasn't it?
I mean, we have mentioned Zion Quinn, but we don't need to, so I think we can move on.
Move on to
So I haven't actually had.
I can't wait to talk about Dynamite.
But I'm afraid this is everybody listening, Skid Mark, because I didn't manage to watch Dynamite today. So I was a very busy boy. Today, as in yesterday, I am going to have to drop out the podcast here so I don't get any spoilers because I'd literally just be listening. So have a lovely rest of the show, guys, and I will see you next week.
Well,
goodbye from me.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye. See you later.
All right. Now we're down to 2.
Yeah, we've never had that before.
They've had a drop off.
An elimination style.
Yeah, elimination chamber. He's
Triple
out.
Threat elimination match. But yeah, so let's talk about Dynamite because I thought it was an excellent show on the back of an excellent pay-per-view.
Mention it wasn't much on Rampage, and I think there's only one thing to really mention. Obviously, the main event, but we'll get into that when we talk about the TNT title. But we got the return of Hikaru Shida on Rampage after the Deeb keeping the Serenity Lock on her opponent after the match. And I think that's actually where this all started. This Deeb 5-minute thing was to do with Shida in the first place. So
yeah, well, they've had so many matches, haven't they? I feel like we're going for like
they're going to go again, aren't they? Well,
do you feel like we're going for the Sheamus Cesaro route here, where they have like 7 matches and they end up respecting each other? Like,
maybe
are we going down that route?
I will say I have missed Shida. I think she's really good. So
she's definitely like. We were saying after Revolution that there weren't many challengers that could beat. That don't feel important that could beat Jade or Britt. I know Shida's been the champion and Britt was the one who trained her. I think they're building up Deeb quite well as well. I will say. Yeah, that. I did forget about her. Deeb winning the title at some point would be great. Probably wouldn't have a really lengthy run, but like whoever beats Britt as a face, if then down the line Deeb beat her, that'd be cool. And Shida beating Jade wouldn't be that bad. Eventually, maybe someone like that. I don't really know who else at the moment, but yeah, cool to see Shida back. I think she adds a lot to the women's division in AEW. Yeah,
I agree. All right, where do you want to start on Dynamite? Because there's a lot.
Podcast listeners won't be able to see me doing the Jeff Hardy dance, but it made me laugh so much because I've seen loads of people talk about this online.
It was funny.
Matt was having the absolute shit beaten out of him, and he found time to do his full entrance, dancing down the ramp.
That was funny.
I love Jeff Hardy.
But Jeff Hardy is here. We knew this was going to happen, didn't we?
And the reason people probably wondering, well, why isn't this a top mark? The reason why it's not my top mark is we all knew weeks ago that Jeff was coming in. It was very obvious when the Hardy family office meeting thing was announced that it was going to happen in this segment. So it was fine. It was entertaining. The segment worked well. It did the job. I thought Private Party's thumbs up, thumbs down thing was brilliant.
That was really good.
I thought the whole segment was good. But yeah, I knew if I didn't know Jeff Hardy was going to come here, this would have been a top mark segment because it was fantastic in that sense. But I didn't pop as much as Jeff Hardy purely because it was so obvious. But that's not a bad thing. That's not AEW's
the Hardy
fault.
Boys. I actually saw AEW tweet out the Hardy Boys entrance, like the Titantron movie thing. So they've already got the Hardy Boys entrance.
Yeah, well, they had the music because we were saying, last last night I saw that they were trying to get the music, and apparently WWE didn't actually properly own it, which is weird. They've had it for 20 years. It's not an actual WWE owned song. No More Words is, Jeff Hardy's solo one. But so they were able to get it a lot easier than I think they anticipated. But it's really cool that they've got their old music, the old Hardy Boys. Let's have another run. And I think Matt needed it. I really think Matt needed it.
Oh God, he did. Just so.
And I thought it was a brilliant moment. There's a picture I've seen online where Matt and Jeff hug at the end, and Matt looks like he's about to burst into tears. He's so happy to see Jeff there. I just thought it was wholesome stuff, really, really good. And I'm sure the first feud will be against Private Party.
I think that's a really good match, because I think that's almost the perfect match, because Private Party are great.
Talking of perfect matches, what I think this builds to, Jeff Hardy and Darby Allin having a stare off. We've said it since Darby Allin's been in AEW. He's the new Jeff Hardy. Throws himself into everything. He's crazy. And I thought it was brilliant when him and Sting come down before Jeff. Yeah. And then Jeff come down. And I was like, oh my God, what a team that is. Matt and Jeff Hardy, Sting and Darby Allin. Do a 4-on-4 match as well. Sting, Darby, Matt and Jeff versus Butcher, Blade and the Private Party.
I think
you could throw Andrade in there, obviously, but do those 4 teams against each other, and I think it's just perfect. I thought this was really, really well done. And like I say, if I didn't know 100% that Jeff Hardy was coming in, it would easily have been my top mark. But the only reason it's not is because it was so obvious, and that's not AEW's fault. That is the fact that we've got social media, wrestling news everywhere. Everyone knew.
It's hard for it to be a proper surprise anymore.
William Regal was a genuine surprise at the weekend.
Yeah, he was. Well,
but there aren't many. I mean, Tony Schiavone didn't even know he was going to be there and stuff like that. 3 people knew he was going to be there apparently.
Oh, really? Well, we can.
I think it's literally Brian Mox and Tony Khan or something like that. Literally.
Well, we can move on to William Regal now.
Yes.
We had the match start off with Mox and Danielson against JD Drake and Anthony Henry, something I don't know.
Anthony Henry. I've never seen that guy before.
No idea. But they had a team name as well, these two. I can't remember what they were called. But...
I thought he looked all right, the Anthony Henry, actually. I thought he did okay in this match.
Yeah.
They got more in than I thought. I thought it was going to be a 2-second squash match, honestly.
Yeah, but I guess the main point here is we got the Regal promo afterwards, which is nice to hear. And he was just allowed to just chat away. You could tell this wasn't particularly scripted. This was just him chatting. I did like how he was like, Bryan Danielson's the perfect wrestler. And he's like, and Moxley's
he really put Bryan over, didn't he? But he put Moxley over a bit, but he really went in on Bryan. But it's very interesting. This has had a bit of a mixed response. And really interesting, William Regal actually tweeted about this earlier. And William Regal's not active on Twitter very much. Because he was apologizing. I don't know. He's such a polite guy. He was apologizing for this segment. I think he felt he probably rambled it. Maybe it went on too long. I don't know.
I liked it.
I thought it was fine. I really enjoyed him saying about he's not long for this world, and in 10 years his wife's going to be carrying him around in a wheelchair.
Yeah. And he was basically in tears, wasn't he, when he was talking about Shivani helping him out when he first came into the industry.
I thought it was really genuine, and I sometimes that's better than you can get good scripted promos, of course you can, but I thought him just talking from the heart. It did go on quite long, but I thought it was fine. I didn't not enjoy it. I thought it was great. Yeah. I love it when he gets really intense, like he used to in NXT when he's shouting war games and he's doing. I love those kind of promos, but this was different and it was fine. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
and I just really love him partnering with Bryan and Mox. I think it's perfect.
No, definitely. And on the subject of really good promos, we got a Wardlow face promo here.
Oh, we've never heard him speak for this long.
No, and this was good. I thought he did really well. And I like how he kind of justified working with MJF. He's like, saying he did it to support his family and he
needs money.
He never really liked him, and he made it quite clear. So I don't work for him anymore. I'm no longer watching his back. It's all about me now. And he said all Elite Wrestling is officially Wardlow's world. That's what he said at the end. So
yeah, I thought this was really, really good because it was one of those moments. He came on screen. I was like, okay, he's talking on his own. I thought if MJF comes out quickly and interrupts, then it's gonna be a back and forth. But if he's just talking on his own,
I thought this was going to be MJF involved here. So I was surprised he just got to talk and that was it.
But noticeably, actually, CM Punk and MJF weren't on the show, which I thought was a good touch because they had a very brutal match.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wrote in my notes like this is sink or swim time for MJF, not MJF, for Wardlow.
Yeah.
MJF has very much swam for a long time.
Yeah. So.
Wardlow, because he's not had this before, where he's talking just on his own for like an extended period of time. And I was thinking, you know, he's been a star. He's got over the crowd. His wrestling's been great. He's just won this thing. You know, the promo has to be good here, and it was. And I was really happy. And I just think a complete star has been made in this past few weeks, particularly. I think there's always been bubbling under the surface. But this last few weeks,
do you reckon we got a future world champ here?
If he's not, they're doing something wrong.
Yeah, do you reckon that high for him?
Yeah.
Yeah,
because they haven't got any other massive tank kind of guys that they push to this level who is one of their own guys who can talk. I mean, Keith Lee can do it all, to be fair. And he could easily be a champion as well. But I just think Wardlow's got something about him where they're going to push him to the moon. I really do think so.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And Wardlow v MJF at some point for the title, if they can ever do that, would be something special.
Oh, it'll be amazing.
But yeah, really, really interesting promo. I thought he did really well here. And I'm pleased it went well. And yeah, like you said, I really liked his backstory, his reasoning behind it and everything. I just thought it all worked.
Yeah, no, definitely. We also got we got a world title match on the show.
Yeah, kind of out of nowhere.
Completely like usually they're so good at announcing the matches beforehand. They just didn't mention a world title match, which was.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was put on Twitter. I think it might have been put on Twitter a couple of hours before. Not announced.
It wasn't announced on the pay-per-view stuff. It wasn't like, they didn't say, oh, he's going to defend it. It's just, strange. They're usually really good at this, but they didn't do it here. And Dante Martin, again, does he deserve a title shot? I don't know, but he got his match.
It was a showcase match. I thought it was a good match.
It's just weird because we literally had his brother brought back last week and they looked a really great tag team, like really booked to like.
Yeah, but I think the promo that Paige cut afterwards, I think they wanted to give him this match as a sort of, not a send off because he's not leaving, but a send off to the solo. He's going back to a tag team. I think they thought, we'll give you this big match as a way of like support. You've done really well. You've been pushed up the card. You've been brilliant on your own. And Paige even kind of said it himself. He'll go back into the tag division now, but he had this big moment before, and I thought that was really, really good of them to do that. So I like the fact they did that, and the Paige really played into it as well. Shook his hand and was like, if you ever come back, it'd be an honor to face you again.
And then we got Adam Cole come out, so it's just like this is over yet. Looks like Cole is still.
No, I would have ended it there, personally.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting Cole to get involved, and again the storyline is still more with the Bucks and Red Dragon here. It's not about the AEW title.
Yes, because Cole's promo was interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm going to pick two guys that know you well, and
like a party, as in Superkick Party.
Yeah,
he was really playing into it, being Young Bucks, really playing into it. And then it wasn't, and it was Red Dragon. And interestingly as well, on the other side of it, Hangman Page didn't pick Dark Order to team with him, and there was tension between Hangman and Dark Order as well. So it feels like they're almost splitting off into this. Cole and Page are still facing each other, but they're both splitting and having issues within their own teams. I think that Page and the Dark Order will be a split soon. I don't think Page needs them, to be honest.
No, he doesn't. No, not everyone needs a faction, and he doesn't.
I don't think the champion, a babyface champion, I don't think necessarily should have one unless they're already in one when they win it. Like if when the New Day, like one of the New Day wins the world title, obviously you're not going to split them. But I don't think Page needs the Dark Order at this point. Really,
no, especially as they're like one of the more lower down teams, like out of all the teams in.
It's not like
they're not a top. They're not the Bucks, are they?
And Bucks and Fish and O'Reilly. That's maybe that's why they've kept him, because he's got some backup. But I think soon
he's got Jurassic Express, hasn't he, with him?
Yeah, I thought he was going to pick Top Flight. By the way, after the promo earlier, I thought, he's not going to pick them. He's going to pick Top Flight. That's what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah, that would have made sense.
But he didn't. He picked Jurassic Express, which does also make sense because of the beef for the Young Bucks, I suppose.
Yeah, and just quickly mention they also defended their tag titles on this show against the Acclaimed. We had some Acclaimed rap talking about gas
relatable
prices.
line. Yeah, I was going to say, I like the Acclaimed raps, but we don't often get many relatable lines that we can relate to. But yeah,
and saying
laying about gas prices.
Jungle Boys never seen boobs as well, apparently.
Yeah, not sure about
It's
that.
just
I mean,
really childish,
he's
isn't
literally
it?
going out of Anna J. So
yeah, I know. I think Anna J tweeted saying like fake or something.
Yeah,
they said that. So yeah, just funny. But
I thought that one was a bit odd. But yeah,
it's just a standard match.
Goodish match. Yeah,
nothing massive. Do you talk about Chris Jericho?
Yeah, it's a massive thing. I mean, there's so much to talk about in this show. As always,
mad. I'm going back and forth on my notes.
But yeah, Jericho. This was close to being a top mark as well. I thought this was expertly done. Jericho comes out. He looks unbelievable, by the way. He looks 10 years younger than he did.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened to him. Yeah.
Oh, he's just so much more in shape. He's I don't know. He's looked after himself well. Yeah, he puts over Kingston. You know, he really praises him, tells him to come out. And I thought for a second this was really genuine. I really did. And I was like, well, this has got to go somewhere. Otherwise, why are they? You know, what's happening here? But yeah, so Kingston, they shake hands in the end. I thought, okay, maybe they're all going to be together, like the Inner Circle. Maybe he's going to be a new member of the Inner Circle or something, you know. And then obviously 2.0 come down, start beating up Kingston and Jericho. But then Santana and Ortiz come down, and that's when it got really interesting, didn't it? Because obviously they help out Jericho, their friend, but Jericho turns his back. He has it's a brilliant bit where Daniel Garcia's down. I can't remember if it's Santana or Ortiz, one of them.
Ortiz, I think. Passes
him the belt, has him held back to hit him, and instead he hits Ortiz. And then I was like, whoa, hang on. And then, so it was all a ruse. And Hager then comes out as well and plays a part in this.
Yeah, and he chooses his side.
Looks conflicted, but teams with Jericho. So it looks like Jericho is now with 2.0, and he called it the Jericho Appreciation Society.
Yeah.
Yeah,
funny name for it, isn't it? Again, it's just another one. You know, it's mentioned with the Hardys earlier. It's a big multi-man match out there. It's another one here. We're going to get Kingston and again, the numbers don't add up. But Kingston,
Hager probably won't be in the match.
Santana Ortiz against 2.0 and Jericho, and there's Daniel Garcia there as well. Maybe Garcia and Hager. I don't know what they're going to do, but interestingly, I don't know when Blood and Guts is or whether they're going to do that again this year. But
I have no idea.
There is a few matches they could do. The Hardys, they could do this story. They could do the Bucks and Red Dragon story into that. So there's a few they can play with here.
I can't wait for Young Bucks versus the Hardy Boys, by the way. At some point down the line, I can't wait for it. That will come. I know we've seen it before. Like I haven't actually seen it before. It's been done before, but yeah.
Yeah, I've not seen it. No. We also got just a random note: is FTR sacked Tully Blanchard?
Yeah,
that was really random.
Interestingly, because it was Dax, wasn't it? He went mental and randomly out of the blue, but he tweeted earlier asking Bret Hart what he was up to. So
really,
are we getting Bret Hart? Because that's a big get. If so, that's like proper cool person to bring in. I know it's his favorite all-time wrestler. He tweets about Bret Hart like every day. I don't know.
He does.
I'm sure you follow Dax. You love FTR. He's obsessed with Bret Hart. I've got a feeling this is setting up some sort of thing for Bret Hart to come in. I mean, he introduced the AEW title way back, didn't he? Bret did.
Yeah. Didn't Jack Whitehall as well introduce something?
Yeah.
Right, that's really random.
Yeah, Jack Whitehall did. Yeah.
When you think back on that,
I forgot about that. Yeah. That was random.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've got a feeling maybe Bret Hart is going to come in, which is cool. I've got no complaints about that.
Yeah, it's just a really random. Maybe that's Tully Blanchard done now because he was manager of Sean Spears, if you remember, at one point.
I'm not sure. Talking about Spears, actually, talking about Wardlow, I do think they've missed a little trick with Spears. Hasn't been involved in any of this. Where is he?
Yeah, I was surprised he didn't come down on
the weekend. But even
Sunday
on that promo, I couldn't believe he didn't come down.
Yeah,
because he was talking for ages. Wardlow. I was thinking, come down?
Before we get Wardlow and Jeff, we're getting Wardlow Spears. That's coming first because that has to, doesn't it?
Yeah, he didn't mention Spears either in the promo. He didn't Spears pissing me off, or he didn't say anything about him. So I don't know. It just seems weird that he's
let's just psych up with Spears.
I'm sure they're going to do something, but with Spears. But it seems at the moment they need to sort of tie that loose end up a little bit. It's the only thing I would say.
Yeah. We had a women's number one contender match.
Oh, yeah.
Thunder Rosa, who I predicted would win, beat Layla Hirsch. And they've now got a steel cage match at St. Patrick's.
I like the stipulation. I'm glad they're doing something different.
And I think this is where Thunder Rosa wins the belt.
I do as well. I don't understand why I said it before. I don't understand why they just put it on in the first place at Revolution.
This feels like a bigger match already. I don't know if it's just me. It just feels like maybe because it's a steel cage, maybe because it's the anniversary of their lights out match, but it just feels like a bigger match. This one.
Maybe they wanted a really big match and a title change there, so they didn't do it at Revolution because there was so much on the card that everyone was already talking about. Maybe that was their thinking. I don't know.
Who knows?
But yeah, I agree with you. I think she'll win here. I think she can't lose again. She just can't.
If she loses here, then I think Baker's just champ forever. I just don't think anyone's going to beat her if she doesn't win here.
No, and I think it'll be a great match inside the steel cage. I really do.
It should be better than the last
someone
one.
Or Rebel will get in and take a huge bump at some point, or Hater, one of the two.
Yeah, we had to kind of had Red Velvet help.
Red Velvet was involved, so yeah, she's in there randomly.
Thunder Rosa.
I don't know where Mercedes has gone, but
she's got a match on on Rampage against Jamie Hayter. It should be a good match actually.
It will. I'm sure it will. Yeah.
Speaking of good matches, we had the TNT title match. So
so this was the main event.
Yeah, we had the triple threat on Rampage, which Sammy defended in against Darby and Andrade, and then he has a match against Scorpio Sky here. And this one surprised me. I don't know about you, but I
really did not expect Scorpio Sky to win this.
Yeah, but I quite like because he's unbeaten for a year. And I quite like.
Yeah, they really put over 364 days.
Yeah,
not lost a match.
Although who was he really faced?
I feel like there was a time when Scorpio Sky should have won this ages ago.
Yeah, when AEW started, he was my
I remember he was like one of your favorites, and I feel like there was a time when he definitely could have won this. It kind of came out the blue.
He did an AEW title match.
I know the story has been building there. Obviously, there was a lot of shenanigans in this match. There was the Sammy injury, which wasn't sure whether it was legit or not at the start.
Yeah, and they seem to just accepted that Sammy and Ty Conti are a thing. That's not. I don't think that's been public knowledge on the show before.
No, but they know.
Conti comes out. Everyone does know.
AEW does play into online audience.
But what I do like.
Is it set up the women's feud?
Match aside, is I like Paige Van Zandt signing the contract on her ass.
Yeah, that was nice. That was amazing. And I'm really glad. I really like that as a first feud for Paige Van Zandt.
Yeah,
in AEW, I think that was a great setup. And I thought that actually kind of was the thing to take away from this. I know obviously it's great for Scorpio Sky to win the title. How long is he going to keep it? Because Wardlow's waiting in the wings.
Scorpio Sky, Wardlow. I actually think MJF stops Wardlow.
Yeah. I do as well, because otherwise it's a bit random putting it on Sky, because Wardlow could have.
Although it does seem again now Wardlow is now a face against the heel, makes a bit more sense than Wardlow Sammy.
I guess so, and I wonder what Sammy's going to do next. But really interested. This match. The match was good, but I did felt it like that injury thing took a long time out of it. There was a lot of stuff going on, but the title win itself is really cool.
Yeah, it was. It was really
obviously
cool.
The spot was amazing right near the start. It was like Sammy did a 630 through a table, missed.
Yeah,
Paige moved out of the way, and then he went for the table, and that was the big spot of the match. It was right near the start, and then he was injured for ages.
Also, I've got to hear. I'm an absolute sucker for a springboard cutter. Sammy does it all the time.
I wrote that
to the other.
I didn't write many.
I love a springboard cutter. And what's cool as well, I know there's been criticism in the past from Tony Khan and AEW about not pushing wrestlers of color much, but we currently have now Jade Cargill and Scorpio Sky as champs.
He did say that he was going to make more of an effort to address that, and I think he has. I don't think there was a massive issue in the first place.
No, it was more around the swole stuff, wasn't it, when he got questioned.
But I do think there was a slight issue, and bringing in Keith Lee as well was a big swerve. So I think they've answered the critics there, and putting the title on Sky as well. I think they've answered those critics, which is fair enough.
Yeah,
maybe they shouldn't have been there in the first place. You could argue, but
they've rectified it definitely. Just quickly on Swerve, his first match is Tony Nese apparently, which is so underwhelming for me. I was like, oh,
yeah,
Tony
Nese has got to be doing
Nese is...
something, any. He's got to be doing something. I
honestly,
did like the reference to the fact they used to wrestle all the time on 205 Live. I thought that was kind of neat, but
it was. But like, of all the matches Swerve could have in AEW, Tony Nese
is just going. I mean, what? It's one of those things. He's an okay signing on his own. If you just said, "Oh, AEW signed Tony Nese," that's fine. But when you've got AEW signed Tony Nese, but then signed Jeff Hardy,
he's
Keith Lee, all these other guys around it.
He's like, if you had to rank all the wrestlers, he'd be like 50th, Tony Nese. Not even a joke, because how many good wrestlers they've got.
That's what I mean.
Mad.
So, he's very low down. He's in the same spot. He's essentially in WWE, but he will have a safer job. I suppose he's not going to get cut, is he? So,
no.
That aside,
I think that's it. Other than some QT Marshall and Keith Lee, they're gonna have a match. I think. Pac Wheeler Yuta randomly in a match that meant nothing. I think.
Yeah, I like the way they did this though, because they said, "Oh, the World Championship match didn't last as long as we expected, so we've added a match to the card."
Yeah, that was quite cool.
I hate when they don't do that in wrestling. They never do it in wrestling, where they kind of just go, "Oh, yeah, this match has got a 60-minute time limit," and then it ends after 5 minutes, and then it's like, "Oh, the show's ended," does it? That's suspicious. So that I actually thought that was kind of cool that they did that, because in wrestling in general, they never play into that. So I thought that was good. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else.
I have no other notes. Jade Cargill did a promo about who's left, but nothing really.
No, that was about it. And really good show again this week. Really enjoyed all of it actually. I thought NXT delivered.
I thought we had a really good Raw as well.
Raw was
SmackDown wasn't too bad either.
No,
really.
SmackDown has been better than it has been. Obviously, we had Revolution in the middle of this week as well, which probably made everybody in a good mood wrestling wise. And then Dynamite as a follow-up show, I thought was really, really good.
Yeah, they did do well.
Because sometimes follow-up shows aren't all that. After the big hype of a pay-per-view, you can just kind of put matches on and don't start new feuds and all that kind of stuff.
But I will say again though, my criticism before on the build-up to Revolution was how, I don't know how down in the priority list the AEW World Title fell. And again on this show, it was the second match on the show. Again, Adam Page does not feel like the biggest deal on AEW. And he should as the champ.
Yeah, I do agree with you on that.
So I actually don't think he's had a good run, Adam Page, so far. I don't think it's worked personally.
I don't think it's been bad, but it's not been as strong as Omega's or.
Well, you look at Moxley or Jericho, Omega, all these champions, and I think Hangman is definitely the worst champ they've had. I just don't think they haven't got behind him enough. I don't know what it is, but again, they're pushing MJF. Punk more, they're pushing Moxley, Danielson more. It's all fair enough, but
I don't disagree with you.
Put the belt on one of those.
Hopefully there's a big feud now that really gets us after the Cole feud that gets us really excited. But I think that's it for this week then, really. So we will be back next week. So follow us on Twitter at Recharge Wrestle and on Facebook too. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're not watching it on there. Like our videos. We do separate prediction videos and extra content on there that you don't get on the podcast. Also follow Robot Republic, as you can see on my thing there. They are we are part of their community. Please follow them on Twitter at Robot Republic _. And that's it from this week, really. See you next week.
Yeah. See you next week, guys.
Bye.